And lightning.
We're all getting it.
Knocked this power out here and went a little crazy, and rain's insane. But you know what? We're done with boots in the sand.
Yes.
That's over. A lot of things out online. A lot of people saying a lot of stuff. So we're trying to get kind of clarification on what happened with boots in the sand and all that kind of stuff. So we played a good theme song for Chief Dan Nenmeyer to come in and talk about that. That is your walk-up music from now on, just so you know.
Sounds wonderful. It took away the cops theme, which was a little bit
yeah.
cliche.
We could do that as we could do that as a walkout music. We do Bad Boys going out and I Fought the Law on the way in. So, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Y'all worked really hard over the weekend to get this thing done. I know you guys were busting your butts. You and Baldwin County did a fantastic job. Talk about this weekend a little bit. Talk about what y'all had to deal with. I mean, set some things straight here for everybody.
Well, obviously, we couldn't do it without them.
Yep.
We had Baldwin County is a great partner. Not just Baldwin County, we had several law enforcement agencies from here in Baldwin County helping us out. As you know, one of the things we say a lot here in Gulf Shores, we have to police bigger than what we are.
Right.
We have a population, and then we have a transient population that comes through. But this weekend was something different, something special. We could never do it without them. Sheriff Lowry and his folks are just great to work with. They're
right.
a great partner, and we rely on them heavily, not just through now, but all year round.
All the time.
Right.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about, because, we went this year from what we know as Hangout Fest to this Boots in the Sand. Different crowds, different people, different expectations for y'all.
Yeah, there were. Sand in My Boots was the different concept that came in this year, and we didn't know what to expect. So we were kind of going from the flip-flop and glitter crowd that we were dealing with before.
That's a good name for
and
it.
Going
I
more
like that.
towards cowboy boots, blue jeans, skull rings, and beer drinkers. So we kind of expected more fights. We had talked, and of course the promoters know about this. And one other thing we did is we talked to Orange Beach PD, Chief Brown over there, and asked them what can we expect, because they deal with it at the wharf all the time.
Sure.
And listen to what they said and talk to the promoters and kind of worked all that out. We were actually expecting more fights, and the fights come generally, it's a property thing. They show up early, they throw their blanket out, and
right.
then somebody walks on it, and then you have a dust up. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. If it happened, it wasn't very much, but the promoters did a great job of kind of limiting the blanket size and some of that. And the thing about this year's crowd is they listened. They looked on the website. They could see what they could bring in. They didn't try to smuggle a whole lot in. Some did. You're going to have that no matter where you go.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But generally it was down. And the first indication that we saw about that it was going to be a little bit different, a lot of us stay down there. We stay down in our condos or a condo, and we don't really leave get too far away from the footprint.
Sure.
And generally on Thursday night at the hangout, my wife and I would eat at a local restaurant, and it's maybe a quarter to a half full. When we went out Thursday night, it was busting out of the rafters.
Yeah.
And people were happy. People were joyous. They were having a good time, and they were rolling those credit cards through the machines.
Yeah.
And so I reached out. It's delicate for us. We're at the fest. We're working it, but we also have a lot of good businesses right in that immediate area, and we still liaison with them and engage with them and make sure that they're not forgotten about. If
Right.
they have an issue, we're still there for them because they're important to us every day of the year. So I reached out to a couple of them and said, you better get ready because this is going to be a little bit different than what you're used to. And Monday, I went to lunch at one of those restaurants, and the owner told me that they had a record sale plus thousands on top for a single day on Sunday.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a collateral benefit that some of the local businesses got this year because the crowd, as Mayor Kraft said it Monday at the City Council meeting, and it was very well said, the Hangout group brings Daddy's credit card. The Sand in My Boots group brings their own credit card, and they were using it.
Oh yeah, that's
Right.
a good way of kind of differentiating between the two types of crowds. And if you've been down there before, you know this. You've seen the flip-flops and glitter crowd down there. And if you've been to a country festival, which this was mostly a country festival, you know the different types of people there. A little more adults, yeah, spending their own money, that kind of thing.
Well, and even the non-country music that was there was older. I mean, it was what was it, Wiz Khalifa and T-Pain.
We have T-Pain, yeah.
And,
but you also had like
but
Brooks and Dunn, like old school country
Right,
music
right,
bands in there
right.
too. So.
My wife's favorite, 3-6 Mafia. She said there and watch that.
yeah.
But you know, and I don't want to generalize the hangout crowd. You know,
Sure.
it's unfair to them to generalize the entire crowd.
Right.
There are overwhelming majority of the hangout crowd that are well behaved and do all the things that we do. It's that fringe element that
Right.
that we have to deal with. There was a lower percentage of that this year.
Right.
There thousands and thousands of people every day go to the hangout, have a great time, and cause us zero problems.
Right. There's always the
percentage
apples.
a little bit different,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you know, we keep a hard perimeter. Is kind of what our philosophy is: keep a hard perimeter and stay in the shadows till we're needed once we're inside, and that works out well in both formats.
Right.
And this year, you talked about a little bit. They bounce back and forth. So you had, let's say, who was it? Bailey Zimmerman. I'm all the names are
Right,
you know?
right, yeah.
So you go from that, and that they can, when he's done, you can go out, cool off, get something to drink, rest, while Wiz Khalifa's playing,
Right.
and vice versa, and then you come back in when Riley Wallen's playing, or Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen, yeah.
Morgan Wallen. The names are a blend at this point. We're in what we affectionately refer to as our I right now. So we came out of spring break,
Oh yeah.
beach volleyball, sand in my boots. We have this I of 4 days, and then now here comes
Memorial Day
Yeah.
weekend.
So
Yeah.
we have a lot
Buckle
going
up.
on. You know, the airport is opening up today. We're testing new officers. We have a great crowd in today.
Yeah.
and we're getting some. You know, we don't rest.
I was going to say, are you taking a breath? Are you taking a chance to kind of go, okay, guys, let's take a breath here because we got going into Memorial Day weekend, and then summer's essentially here. Kids are out of school. Now you got a whole different crowd of people coming in too.
Right.
With
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
with tourists.
it's a different crowd, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're blessed to get the resources we need from the city and police it the way it needs to be policed. You know, it's a challenge sometime in the summer because you're dealing with people where law enforcement does not show the presence that we do and doesn't take the enforcement action that we do, so they think they can get away with here what they can get away with at home.
Right.
And as soon as they figure that out, on Saturday they leave and we welcome in a whole new group. So,
yeah.
you know, we turn it over.
Yeah.
But I'm very proud of the work the men and women do at the police department,
Yeah.
and they understand that, and it's what we all signed up for, and it's a great town to work in. It's a great town to do this job.
And I think from interviews that I've heard from people who were actually here, first time, they've never been here before, they came in for the Sand in My Boots Festival, is that they felt safe. They didn't see a lot of police activity. They didn't see you guys, but you were working, right? So
Right.
that says a lot about how you and your officers handle situations, is that they know you're there, but you're not there, like oppressing. You're just letting people still have a good time within the rules. So I was hearing a lot of good feedback, not just on the beach and the food, a lot about the food, but how you all handled everything down there.
Right, and that's the plan. Like
Yeah.
I said, we hard perimeter, stay in the shadows, and be aware. You know, keep an eye on things.
Just read a thing from Grant Brown. He was talking about the meeting that y'all were having as far as the city council. Where to go next? What are they going to do? I mean, that's kind of still up in the air, and they're going to let everybody kind of vote and kind of have their say and see what happens. I can gather that I think I know where y'all would like it to be. Just kind of stay where it is right now. Any thoughts on that? Any ideas?
I would say the
Anything you
main
wanna throw
thing
out
is
there?
whatever the decision is, we're going to be prepared.
Yeah.
We have a great command staff that is used to planning this, and again, we don't do it alone.
Right.
We reach out to our partners and anyone who we can take some information from, and we'll learn from that. We'll be prepared. Chances are low that anything really bad is going to happen, but never zero. So
Right.
you have to prepare for that. We do a lot of these exercises, tabletop exercises. We did one recently at the airport. AEG came in and did a tabletop prior to Sand in My Boots. And, the one thing that we take away from it is when we collaborate with the fire department, public works, other agencies, we're ahead of the game because we do these types of things so much. 100,000 people in the town we call Tuesday in the summer.
Right.
So we're used to big crowds. We're used to the traffic. We're used to getting around. it just becomes part of our culture. And regardless of how it is, what the event is, we're going to be prepared for it.
Well, I think they're going to be making they have to make a decision soon on what's happening next, because they've got to start
planning
that one for
Yeah,
next year. So
yeah.
hopefully we'll find out fairly soon about what's going to be happening next. Today, big day, the ribbon cutting ceremony over at the airport. You're going to be over there and watch the first flight come in.
I will be there.
Okay.
We're kicking off our airport unit today.
And now you got an airport unit.
This week we have our airport unit reporting to Gulf Shores International. We also have this weekend, we have our Marine unit. They're wrapping up training this week, and they'll be out on the water on the Gulf Shores water this weekend. Really for the first time. It's going to be a different boat than what we will have moving forward. That'll be ready come mid-June, and it's exciting times. Very exciting times to be here.
That's awesome.
Any tips or anything that you want to send out there for people this weekend as far as Memorial Day weekend is concerned?
It's all cliche. Hydrate and sunscreen, right? Hydrate and sunscreen.
And
Don't drink and drive.
and fireworks
that would
and
help.
inside the city limits and all that kind of stuff, right? Just to keep that.
Right.
Don't want to. Okay. All right. We're just taking
Good group.
Hey, I just got to give a big kudos shout out to your team, because being a fairly new person to this town, you don't drive very far without seeing a police car. And same in Orange Beach. It's all of you guys do a great job. Yesterday, as I was getting ready to leave the chamber office, I heard a car accident happen right at the north side of the bridge. By the time I got in my car and got to, and if you know where the chamber office is, it's a block and a half away, there was already a police car there. I mean, the response time is like 2 minutes or less. I mean, it was crazy how fast somebody was on site to start dealing with that stressful situation for those people.
Thank you. That being professional and being visible are two of our biggest traits. That's what we focus on to make sure that and then to be responsive.
Yes.
So and whenever we stop somebody, you kind of say, "Do you look around? Do you think we're pulling over murderers?" There's a traffic stop going on all the time, and it's for a reason. We're trying to slow people down. It's not a revenue-based thing. That's what everybody thinks. We get so many tickets.
Got to get your quota and all that kind of stuff.
We don't have a quota. We can ride as many as we want. But the key is to reduce accidents.
Yeah.
Who wants to come here on vacation, get involved in an accident, and spend 2 days in an auto body shop, or have to rent a car and deal with all that? It takes away. So what we're really trying to do, the number one priority, is to slow people down and reduce accidents. You're at the beach. There are people gawking. There are pedestrians. It's different than a one stop sign town in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And we have to make people aware of that, and that's the visibility and the presence is the first step in doing that.
Well, we're very proud of you all. You guys did a great job. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
As always. Chief Dan Enemeyer, we'll have you back whenever you got something else coming
Whenever
on.
you want. So let me ask before I leave, what show is this?
This
show
is
number?
97.
97.
Yeah.
So I wasn't good enough to be the guest on the 100
You
show?
can come back on Friday if you want to.
I think you thought Friday might be busy.
No, I knew it was coming up. I monitor. So, I'm very glad to be
Show
here.
100 is
Congratulations
Friday.
on
Thank
97.
you.
Come on in. And I'm going after David Letterman's record, I think. 33 years, 6,000 shows.
There you go.
33. How old will you be in 33 years?
Look, let's not be negative.
Let's think about this.
Negative Nancy over there. Okay.
Well.
Chief, thanks for coming in.
Glad to
Appreciate
be
it.
here. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
It is 8:22. We got more show to go. Hold on.
We've opened up the vaults, and we're replaying Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the 70s.